Welcome to LFC Transfer HQ, your ultimate source for all things Liverpool FC transfers. Like and subscribe for more football updates. Our first news is Liverpool news. Slot given grave deadline as Isak and Wirtz fears emerge. It's do-or-die time for Arne Slot at Liverpool. The Dutchman is on the worst streak of his managerial career, with the Reds having lost 6 of their last 7 leagues. Such a run has plunged the reigning league champions to 12th place, 11 points behind league leaders Arsenal. Among the criticism that has been thrown the way of Virgil van Dijk and Mohamed Salah, Slot has endured his fair share, with many suggesting his position as manager is in deep peril. It's a reality that was once unthinkable just a few months ago when the Reds captured their second league title in 5 years, but can now come to fruition should their bad form continue to roll on. Ahead of a busy winter period which could define Slot's future at Anfield, Mirror Football possesses all the details on the latest news coming out of Anfield. Slot-handed deadline. Liverpool's Premier League title win might well have been a lifetime ago given the Reds' stark contrast in fortunes. At the beginning of the season, conversations reportedly took place in regards to extending Slot's contract, but such discussions are said to have been put on ice. A run of defeats like Slot has endured would be a cause for concern for any club, but at Liverpool, it's a pattern that can't be tolerated. According to former Red star Dietmar Hamann, Slot must win his next 2 games or risk becoming the first Liverpool manager to be sacked in over 10 years. The ex-German international discussed Slot's position on TalkSport Breakfast and said, "I don't think anybody wants to see him leave because of what he's done last season. Obviously, the run of form is very bad at the moment. I think what you want to see as a club is progress. The next 2 games will be telling." Alan, Brazil, just said they've got to win both games. I agree, because we don't need to talk about the title now. Arsenal look very strong, Chelsea look the only contender really at the moment. I think they've, Liverpool, got a fight on their hands to finish in the top 4. If you don't see progress in the Premier League, I think his time will come to an end, as it will be with everybody else. Isak and Wirtz fears. A main failure of Slot so far this season has been his inability to embed his new signings into the Liverpool team that won the Premier League. Despite the massive outlay spent this summer, predominantly on Alexander Isak and Florian Wirtz, the 2 big money signings have yet to properly gel in the Dutchman system. The pair have started just 1 Premier League game together, the 2-1 defeat to Crystal Palace, and have combined for just 1 assist and no goals in their 16 league games across all competitions. Former England and Newcastle boss Sam Allardyce said it'll take months for Slot to bed in his new signings amid the club's dire form. Speaking on the Footy Accumulators No Tippy Tappy Football podcast, he said, "Is this a case of too much transition in one season? You've got the opposite last year when everyone thought they'll have no chance of winning the league because they've only signed 1 player, and Arne Slot coming in with a team that's familiar with itself, that knows themselves, and he inherited that magnificently well. Now it's a transition, and he clearly has asked for that transition to happen, and the amount of money that's available to Liverpool on the basis of what they've built up over the years, particularly last year, with only signing 1 player, meant there was a big pot there, and they went into the market by signing quality players." Stay tuned for all the latest Liverpool transfer news, contract updates, and insider reactions from Anfield. Subscribe now for daily Liverpool FC updates and breaking football news. Our second news is Arne Slot's Liverpool sack response as beleaguered boss comes clean on talks with Chiefs. Liverpool lost 4-1 at Anfield to PSV to make it 9 defeats in their last 12 games across all competitions, and Arne Slot's position now appears increasingly under threat. Arne Slot understands why his position is under scrutiny after a humiliating 4-1 home defeat to PSV. Fans at Anfield expressed their disappointment with boos at the final whistle, following the reigning Premier League champions' 9th loss in their last 12 matches across all competitions. The Reds found themselves on the back foot early on due to an Ivan Perisic penalty. Despite Dominik Szoboszlai quickly leveling the score, second-half strikes from Guztil and a double from substitute Kuhaib Dryak piled more pressure on Slot's struggling squad. This hefty loss to the Dutch side comes hot on the heels of consecutive 3-0 defeats to Manchester City and Nottingham Forest. Slot admitted his shock at Liverpool's dismal run of form and addressed the uncertainty surrounding his future at the club. He said when quizzed about his job security amid the recent poor performances, having guided Liverpool to Premier League glory just 6 months ago, "I don't think it's important if it's fair or not, but that is normal, that I understand. If any manager around the world loses football games, let alone so many as we've lost, it's quite normal that people have an opinion about that. And if that's fair or not fair, that's for the people to judge, but that is normal. I think it is, that if you lose so many times, people start talking about that. I think it's a shock for everyone. For the players, for the journalists over here, for me. For everyone, this is a shock that is very, very, very unexpected when you look at the quality we are having. Is it a lack of confidence? I didn't see that in the first half. Of course, it is hard if you concede a goal straight into this game after losing 3-0. But the sort of mentality these players have shown on so many times since I'm here, came back in a way you would like to, created chances, kept them in their half. And after another setback, after conceding 2-1, I also saw us creating chances again to score the 2-2. But at the end of the game, I did see that it maybe affected 1 or 2 players that we were 3 and 4-1 down, that's true. Nevertheless, Slot maintained he was not concerned about his own position after holding discussions with the club's hierarchy. He said, "I don't agree with you that the quality of Liverpool's players isn't showing itself. I see enough moments that players show their quality, but it doesn't reflect in the score or in the results, that is clear. But no, I am not worried. What I mean by that is that my focus is on other things than worrying about my own position. I try to analyze, and try to help the players as much as I can, and it is obvious that I don't do it in the way that I did it last season because when you talk about individual errors, I think that is also something that comes from a team effort. So, again, I need to do better, and that is what I am trying to do every single day, to improve the team, and that is where my main focus is, to be honest. Yeah, I talk to club bosses, but not in the sense that they tell me every single minute, we support you, we support you, we support you, but we talk a lot if we are winning, like last season, and if we are losing. Then they are helpful to me, to the team, so yes, we do have those conversations, but they don't call me every single minute of the day to tell me that they still trust me. But we do have the normal conversations, and in those conversations I feel the trust, but I haven't spoken to them after this game yet, so let's see. Subscribe now for Daily Liverpool. Our third news is Arne Slot makes startling Liverpool admission as Reds plumb new depths in PSV defeat. Liverpool's poor form continued as PSV hammered them 4-1 in the Champions League with Arne Slot scratching his head. Arne Slot admits watching his Liverpool side lose again is hard to take, and no one thought they would lose 4-1 to PSV when they went into the break all square. The Reds put a pause to their domestic demise when their focus turned to the Champions League, where they had won 3 of their 4 games, including a victory over Real Madrid, but the Dutch side took advantage of Liverpool's struggles. They were ahead inside 6 minutes as Ivan Perisic scored in front of the Kop and, after the hosts had equalized, they produced 3 second-half goals to leave Slot looking for more answers. The Dutchman had looked to make changes, dropping Alexander Isak. Quizzed on how they stopped the rut, he said, "The only way to go is to go through. We have to face where we are and fight really hard, and would be nice if, every time, we don't get the knock of conceding a goal. The feeling the players and probably our fans have is that after 45 minutes you don't expect to be 1-1, you expect to be up. That's hard, but the reaction was the reaction you expect from a Liverpool player, but the end result is 4-1. PSV opened the scoring from the penalty spot after Virgil van Dijk clearly handled the ball. Slot claims his centre-half bemoaned a push as a corner was delivered, but admits VAR would never come in and overturn the referee's decision. Liverpool have now conceded at least 3 goals in their last 3 games, an unwelcome stat the club haven't had to face since the 1950s. In the Premier League, the Reds now find themselves in the bottom half following weeks of dire results. In Europe they've dropped down to 13th spot and, as things stand, would have to go into the knockout playoff round to make the last 16. Slot has huge amounts of credit in the bank given the way Liverpool stormed to the title in what was his debut season. The Dutchman was allowed to spend over £400 million on new talent in the summer, but the Reds have endured a steep drop-off from last season's levels. Liverpool's season hits a new low as Arne Slot faces a grave deadline following a shocking PSV defeat. Major concerns grow over Alexander Isak and Wirtz, while Slot opens up about internal talks with club chiefs. Pressure mounts after back-to-back losses, fan outrage, and critical comments from Steven Gerrard and Virgil van Dijk. Stay tuned for all the latest Liverpool transfer news, contract updates, and insider reactions from Anfield. Subscribe now for daily Liverpool FC updates and breaking football news. Our fourth news is Arne Slot's sack agreement reached immediately after Liverpool's humiliating PSV defeat. Problems are mounting at Anfield after Liverpool suffered a 4-1 defeat at home to PSV Eindhoven as scrutiny intensifies for head coach Arne Slot. Steve McManaman believes it is too early to consider sacking Liverpool head coach Arne Slot. The Dutchman is under mounting pressure after the Reds suffered their 9th defeat in 12 after PSV Eindhoven's 4-1 win at Anfield. Former Liverpool captain Steven Gerrard agreed with his former Anfield teammate regarding the former Feyenoord boss's job security on Merseyside. Although the 45-year-old claimed that serious questions will be asked of the Premier League winning tactician. As a result of the disappointment at the hands of the Eredivisie side, the Reds are now out of the automatic qualification places for the Champions League knockout phase. In Europe, Liverpool face tough trips away from home to Inter Milan and Marseille before welcoming Qarabag to Anfield in the final group match, but the Dutchman is facing increasing calls to be relieved of his duties at Anfield after a run of 9 defeats in their last 12. However, McManaman and Gerrard rushed to his defense. "I think no. I think it's far too early, what he's achieved and where he is now this year, that's a good run of fixtures," said McManaman. "That I understand the question completely, but with that run of fixtures, Liverpool still fighting in the Champions League, it's far too early to come up with a question like that. They will have to be knocked out of the Champions League and wallowing at the bottom of the league. I think they play Arsenal second week in Jan, that's when the question should be asked. Hopefully they'll have climbed the table. You have to give him time for the signings, who have constantly been injured, they're ones you'd expect to come in and lift the team. If anything, they've detracted from the team, they look lopsided. It's far too early to ask a manager that question when he's achieved so much in a small space of time. I do understand the world we live in, that question will be bandied around." Gerrard said, "That's the world we live in, that's football in the modern day. I've been in that position myself. You understand that if you're not getting the results, there is going to be serious questions asked, steward's inquiry, that comes with the territory especially at the top end. I agree Macca, from me and you because we lived through it and suffered. I've been both sides. It's going to come." Virgil van Dijk was at fault for the opener as the hosts were handed another nightmare start after the Liverpool captain was penalised for a handball in the penalty area. Dominic Szoboszlai hit back to equalise for the Reds before Cody Gakpo, Hugo Ekitike and Virgil van Dijk came close before the break. Alexis Mac Allister, Van Dijk and Gakpo all had opportunities to steer Liverpool in front, however, they failed to make them count and PSV capitalised on a glut of errors from Liverpool as Guztil and a Kuhaib Dryak double compounded the misery for Slot. Liverpool's season hits a new low as Arne Slot faces a grave deadline following a shocking PSV defeat. Major concerns grow over Alexander Isak and Wirtz, while Slot opens up about internal talks with club chiefs. Pressure mounts after back-to-back losses, fan outrage, and critical comments from Steven Gerrard and Virgil van Dijk. Stay tuned for all the latest Liverpool transfer news, contract updates, and insider reactions from Anfield. Subscribe now for daily Liverpool FC updates and breaking football news. It's far too early to ask a manager that question when he's achieved so much in a small space of time. I do understand the world we live in, that question will be bandied around. Gerrard said, "That's the world we live in, that's football in the modern day. I've been in that position myself. You understand that if you're not getting the results, there is going to be serious questions asked, Steward's inquiry, that comes with the territory especially at the top end. I agree Macca, from me and you because we lived through it and suffered. I've been both sides. It's going to come. Virgil van Dijk was at fault for the opener as the hosts were handed another nightmare start after the Liverpool captain was penalised for a handball in the penalty area. Dominic Szoboszlai hit back to equalise for the Reds before Cody Gakpo, Hugo Ekitike and Virgil van Dijk came close before the break. Alexis Mac Allister, Van Dijk and Gakpo all had opportunities to steer Liverpool in front, however, they failed to make them count and PSV capitalised on a glut of errors from Liverpool as Guztil and a Kuheb Dryak double compounded the misery for Slot. Liverpool's season hits a new low as Arne Slot faces a grave deadline following a shocking PSV defeat. Major concerns grow over Alexander Isak and Florian Wirtz, while Slot opens up about internal talks with club chiefs. Pressure mounts after back-to-back losses, fan outrage, and critical comments from Steven Gerrard and Virgil van Dijk. Stay tuned for all the latest Liverpool transfer news, contract updates, and insider reactions from Anfield. Subscribe now for daily Liverpool FC updates and breaking football news. Our fifth news is Liverpool lose again in PSV humbling to pile pressure on Arne Slot, 5 talking points. Liverpool 1-4 PSV Eindhoven. The Premier League champions are in a world of trouble after a miserable evening at Anfield made it 9 defeats in their last 12 matches. The problems for Liverpool and Arne Slot worsened as they were beaten 4-1 at home by PSV Eindhoven. Peter Bosz and the Eredivisie giants fought back to haunt the Dutchman once again, following the tussles at Feyenoord and in the Champions League last season. With pressure mounting on the 47-year-old after their dour 3-0 defeat at home to Nottingham Forest on Saturday, Liverpool failed to heed their slump. It was a nightmare start at Anfield as Ivan Perisic handed PSV the lead inside just 5 minutes, after Virgil van Dijk was penalised for a bizarre handball. Dominic Szoboszlai answered back after a spell of Liverpool pressure midway through the first half. The Reds looked to take the lead in the second half and had their chances, but defensive lapses proved costly as faults from Milos Kerkez and Ibrahima Konate saw Guztil and Kuheb Dryak capitalise. In stoppage time, Dryak made it 4 to rub even more salt into the wounds. Here are all of the talking points from Anfield. Defensive frailties clear again. It only took PSV Eindhoven 5 minutes to break the deadlock in the worst possible start for Liverpool. When the Reds needed a response and a strong start most, they failed to deliver. Captain Virgil van Dijk was penalised for a handball from a corner. The in-swinging delivery was met by the raised arm of the central defender, and the referee didn't hesitate to point to the spot. The Dutchman can have no complaints, his arm was raised, and in Europe, it's rare that penalties aren't given of that nature. Ivan Perisic's penalty was the 9th time in 12 matches that Liverpool have fallen behind first. There were more hairy moments with Liverpool, who were spared by the offside flag. Our last news is Steven Gerrard makes feelings clear on Virgil van Dijk's complaints in Liverpool defeat. Virgil van Dijk was furious after giving away a penalty in the first half before Liverpool's embarrassing defeat against PSV on Wednesday night. Steven Gerrard and Steve McManaman both agreed it was the correct decision to penalise Virgil van Dijk during Liverpool's shock defeat against PSV. The Reds' captain was adjudged to have handled the ball by Spanish referee Alejandro Hernandez following an in-swinging corner with just minutes on the clock. Van Dijk's hand was positioned well above his head, and he argued that he was impeded during the set piece, which caused his hand to be in an unnatural position. However, neither the official nor the video assistant referee were persuaded. Ivan Perisic converted from the spot and sent Georgi Mamardashvili the wrong way to put the Eredivisie side ahead after 5 minutes. The two Liverpool legends were in the studio at Anfield to analyse the key talking points from the Reds' Champions League clash. Both felt there could be no arguments from the home side. McManaman said, "Considering what we spoke about before the game. Only Virgil will be able to tell you what he thought because it looked like his left arm was being held by Jordi Scouten and his right arm shoots up. It's a penalty, you really can't contest it. There's only one person who'll tell us what's going through his mind at that specific mind. Gerrard added, I don't think there was enough in it for that kind of reaction. I think the penalty was quite clear. Perisic steps up with experience and puts them one in front. It was a nightmare start for Liverpool from the off. Liverpool hit back and piled pressure on their visitors before equalizing. Cody Gakpo, facing his former club, danced inside before his effort was pushed away towards Dominik Szoboszlai, who was perfectly positioned to fire into an unguarded net. It proved the ideal response from Liverpool after falling behind. The Croatian spot kick meant that Arne Slot's team have now conceded first in 9 of their previous 12 fixtures, with their defensive issues continuing. However, Liverpool found their rhythm and pressed for a second, with Gakpo threatening before Hugo Ekitike and Virgil van Dijk were both thwarted ahead of half-time. McManaman continued, Liverpool have responded since then, they've been excellent. The second half proved to be a disaster, though, with Guztil striking just before the hour mark to give the Dutch side an unlikely lead. Matters got even worse for Liverpool, who are already in the midst of a rotten run, when Kuhaib Drajek turned in from close range to extend PSV's advantage. Drajek then grabbed his second of the night in added time to pile the misery on Liverpool and seal a famous win. The embarrassing defeat, Liverpool's third on the bounce, leaves Arne Slot's men outside the automatic top 8 qualifying positions and piles the pressure on the Dutchman, whose future is now in some doubt. Thanks for watching. That's all for today's transfer update. But the transfer window never sleeps, and neither do we. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for the latest Liverpool FC transfer news, rumors, and confirmed deals. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss an update, because at LFC Transfer HQ, you'll never walk alone.